Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm back. For those of you who have watched my Valley Origins video, you'll know that I've been watching Locks and Noggin's channel for quite some time now. All things considered, as far as Loxton's concerned, he's brought up some pretty impressive videos, and I've learned quite a few things just by watching them. And my problem is, he's given me a few too many ideas. No offense, but the kind of ideas that he's given me are theory ideas. You can see where I'm going with this. But anyways, this is where we get the trilby hat and start theorizing. Today's theory, on the other hand, well, it has to do with, once again, Loxton's latest video. This time, Loxton managed to pull in a little something from the Elder Scrolls. Now, I wanted to get this video completed 2 days ago, but things kind of got in the way. And I was not really feeling up to making videos for the past 2 days. So, in the theme of St. Patrick's Day, even though it's 2 days late, I am doing a theory video involving the unintentional connections between Valdemar and the world of the Elder Scrolls. For those of you who have been paying attention to my videos, specifically my ultimate RWBY theory video, you will know that I've actually drawn some pretty impressive connections between the world of Remnant and the world of Velgarth and its history. And all things considered, there is quite a bit of groundwork that I laid down on that one. So, all things considered, let's just say that I've managed to have my gears grinding again, and so, now that I've gotten a sufficient amount of evidence to support this theory, being that I only came up with it like, what, maybe an hour ago? At most. All things considered, you'll find that this theory is rather surprising. Also, if I have enough time at the end, I'll combine this theory video into a double whammy of sorts with a Grimm analysis on RWBY. But without further ado, let's begin with the first theory of the video, and perhaps the most important at that. All things considered, Loxton's previous video on Skyrim had to do with the cat people of the Elder Scrolls. As of right now, I can't really remember what they're called, but it has to do with why their females look like what they do. Not gonna go into any details, so you'll have to look at Loxton's channel on that one. On that note, Loxton's latest video actually goes into why Argonians, which are basically lizard people, why they look like what they do, at least the females. The fact that Argonians have something resembling mammary glands on the chest is a little bit awkward. But Loxton manages to get it explained away through the combined efforts of about 5 different theories. 4 or 5, but who's counting anyways? Argonians are basically lizard folk who are basically very prevalent as merchandise on the slave trade. That got me thinking about another race of lizard folk called the Hirtasi. This race of creatures is actually quite similar to the Argonians when you think about it. The Argonians have a history and lore with their origins being traced back to the Hist. Loxton explained that if you pay attention to the lore of the Argonians, you will find out that the Argonians are thought to have originally descended or originated as being more tree-like in appearance, basically looking like the tree herders from Lord of the Rings, something like that, anyways, in order to supposedly guard the Hist. Now, on that note, here's where there's an actual similarity here, where the Hirtasi actually are descended from species of swamp lizard. As of right now, the particular species of swamp lizard that Hirtasi are descended from just so happens to be unnamed as of this time, as Misty Lackey hasn't gotten to that particular detail. And anyone working on the Valdemar anthologies still has yet to come up with that either. So, that aside, let's move into some other similarities, shall we? Hirtasi actually serve the tailor dress and Kalerain, both of which are actually two versions of, well, two ethnicities of humans. Argonians actually are quite prevalent, as I said earlier, in the slave trade. And in the fact that they are treated as merchandise in that area. There's another similarity. All things considered, how about we move on to some more heavy groundwork? Hirtasi are actually bipedal, meaning they walk on their two hind legs, and they also are sentient and have high intelligence. Same goes for the Argonians. Now, the one difference between Hirtasi and Argonians that perhaps could help you tell the two apart is the fact that Hirtasi have tails, while Argonians, instead of tails, actually have horns and spikes that I've seen. Of course, I could be wrong in saying that Argonians didn't have tails, but be sure to correct me if I'm wrong on that one. And there you have it, all the similarities between Argonians and Hirtasi. Lizard folk, the unintentional connection between Velgarth and the world of the Elder Scrolls. But yeah, that's it for that there. Now on to the second and perhaps less important theory to you Elder Scrolls fans, and overall more important to you RWBY fans. Let us start by analyzing the Beowolf and Ursai. Well, Ursai, actually, as they're called in the plural. So yeah, Beowolves are the first species of Grimm ever to appear in the RWBY franchise. In fact, Beowolves were actually shown in the first actual canon video material for the RWBY series to begin with. Beowolves actually first showed up in the Red trailer. When Ruby Rose was being introduced. The Beowolves, for those of you who actually remember watching the trailers, specifically the Red trailer in this instance, will remember that the Beowolves at that time were just entirely black. They only had monotone black fur, and they plain and simply had red eyes. And if you cut them open, they were just, their flesh was the same red as their freaking eyes and teeth. Oy. But if you fast forward to the episode, I think it was actually it was chapters 4 and 5 where Beowolves showed up again. Beowolves actually, the Beowolves in the Emerald Forest actually had some sort of, were actually a little more scary looking in the fact that they actually more resembled their present day counterparts, having more white and yellow on them as opposed to the Beowolves in the Red trailer. Beowolves are supposedly based off of wolves, being that they are obviously wolf-like creatures. Now we get to the Ursai. Those guys, they are, first of all, Ursai is basically, I believe it was Greek for bear. And for those of you who are astronomers or constellation groupies, there are two constellations in the night sky on the northern hemisphere that are called Ursai. Ursa Minor and Ursa Major. All things considered, Ursai are basically just darker versions of bears. But yeah, my brain's just blowing off steam at this point. So that's it for the RWBY and Grimm analysis. So yeah, be sure to check out my other videos, especially my Sylvalia Origins video, and for that matter, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure that to leave a comment in the comment section below, and be sure to leave a comment about what theories I should cover next. I could really use the feedback. But other than that, gotta go. This is Sal Aragon Mander, signing off. Zay Halava.